Who is Walt Disney? On December 5, 1901, Walter Elias Disney was born in Chicago, Illinois. He was Elias and Flora Disney's fourth child. Ruth, a daughter, was later born. The family relocated to a tiny farm outside of Marceline, Missouri, in 1906. Walt the child and Roy his brother were expected to assist with farm work. Walt started drawing while working on the farm. Walt's father, Elias Disney, sold his property in 1910 and relocated to Kansas City, where he purchased a newspaper delivery company. The Kansas City Star and other papers were delivered by Walt and Roy, who were given the assignment. Walt's parents signed him up for art lessons at the Kansas City Art Institute when he was 14 years old. Walt developed a lifetime love of trains while working a summer job selling concessions on the Santa Fe Railroad in 1917. He then went back to Chicago and enrolled in McKinley High School. Walt kept up his painting lessons and contributed cartoons to the McKinley School newspaper. When Walt was 16 years old, he wanted to join the military but was too young. Nevertheless, he was able to help the war effort by driving an ambulance for the Red Cross. Rumor has it that young Walt created cartoon decorations for the ambulance in his unit. Walt came back to the United States in 1919 and began working at the Kansas City Slide Company, which produced ads using rudimentary stop-action animation. Walt and the animator UBI Works departed to launch their own company, Laugh-O-Grams. The creation of quick animated advertising for a nearby theater was initially successful. When Walt had the notion to introduce a young actress to the world of cartoons, Alice's Wonderland was born. Unfortunately, the company had to shut down due to a lack of funding. Walt persisted though. He relocated to Los Angeles and eventually produced additional Alice movies. As a result of the popularity of the Alice comedies, Walt was able to expand his staff. Lillian Bounds was one of them. He married her on July 13, 1925. From the silent black and white shorts of the 1920s to the lavish full-length feature films of the 1960s, Walt Disney advanced the art of animation. Walt Disney played a significant role in the creation of contemporary movies and television despite the fact that he did not live to see the digital age. Disney made an effort to amuse both kids and adults, combining compelling stories and characters, catchy music and sound effects, and breathtaking visuals. Walt always had aspirations of creating the next big thing in entertainment, and his crowning achievements, Disneyland and Disney World, continue to be the most visited theme parks on Earth. After finishing nearly 60 episodes of the Alice comedies, Walt changed his focus to full-length animation, without actors. Oswald the Lucky Rabbit is a new cartoon character that he and UB created, who bears a resemblance to Mickey Mouse, but with long ears and furry feet. That show was extremely popular, but Disney was forced to put the project on hold owing to a dispute about who held the rights to the Oswald name. Not one to let a setback keep him down for long, Walt Disney quickly started working on a new character with UB. Mickey Mouse. There were only silent black and white movies available at the time. Disney had to go back to the drawing board and come up with a technique to include sound into his animated movies after Warner Bros. October 23, 1927, release of The Jazz Singer, the first motion picture with sound, or talkie. Steamboat Willie, the first animated film with a completely synchronized soundtrack, featured Mickey Mouse in 1928. Mickey Mouse's voice was provided by Walt himself, who did so for close to 20 years. With the assistance of his companions, Pluto, Goofy, and Donald Duck, who were all released in 1930, 1932, and 1933, respectively, Mickey Mouse was a big success and became an international star the next year, despite the Great Depression. The first Technicolor full-color animated film, Flowers and Trees, was introduced by Disney in 1929 as part of their second animated series, The Silly Symphonies. Disney then decided to take a significant risk and create the first animated feature film, Seven Dwarfs and Snow White, 1937. To address the particular difficulties of a feature picture, the Disney animators worked on it for more than 3 years, developing innovative animation techniques such as the multi-plane camera. A few days before Christmas, Snow White made its debut. It became an instant hit. The following films were Pinocchio, 1940, Fantasia, 1940, which featured The Sorcerer's Apprentice, Dumbo, 1941, and Bambi, 1942. Saludos Amigos, 1943, and The Three Caballeros were two of the military contracts made possible by America's involvement in World War II, 1945. The Walt Disney Studios entered its golden era as the country celebrated the end of World War II. Released in 1950 were Cinderella and Alice in Wonderland. Then came The Sword and the Stone, 1961, Sleeping Beauty, 1959, Sleeping Beauty, 1959, Peter Pan, 1953, Lady and the Tramp, 1955, and 101 Dalmatians, 1961. 1963. Disney discovered he had severe lung cancer in the fall of 1966. His final animated film, The Jungle Book, 1966, was not entirely finished when he passed away on December 15, 1966, at the age of 65. Walt Disney's 1946 live-action film Song of the South became his first significant breakthrough. With Treasure Island, one of 4 dramas shot in the British Isles, more success followed. Seal Island, which won the Best Short Subject Oscar in 1949, also served as the catalyst for the True Life Adventure series, a group of more than a dozen environmental documentaries shot between 1950 and 1960. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, 1954, Swiss Family Robinson, 1960, The Shaggy Dog, 1959, The Absent-Minded Professor, 1961, Pollyanna, 1960, and The Parent Trap, 1960, were further well-liked motion pictures, 1961. When Mary Poppins was launched in 1964, it quickly rose to the top of the box office. Walt Disney made the smart decision to keep all of his film rights for television. His debut TV series, Davy Crockett, was a huge success in 1954. The shows will be televised on ABC. They agreed to contribute money in exchange for their investing in the upcoming Disneyland theme park. The Mickey Mouse Club, which aired from 1955 through 1959, was yet another hugely popular TV program. Walt Disney spent many years mulling over the notion of creating an amusement park that would be just as interesting for adults as it would be for kids. In 1952, formal planning for the first park began. California's Anaheim was picked as the location. On July 17, 1955, Disneyland officially opened, complete with a railroad encircling it, a bustling main street, and the magnificent Cinderella Castle in the distance. A self-contained vacation land with hotels, campgrounds, and golf courses was what Disney had in mind when he began developing a second park on the East Coast. Epcot, experimental prototype community of tomorrow, a metropolis built to constantly be 25 years ahead of its time, would be present. Disney passed away prior to commencing ground despite having chosen the location nearby Orlando, Florida. In October 1971, Walt's brother Roy Disney declared Walt Disney World to be open, saying these words: "Walt Disney World is a tribute to the philosophy and life of Walter Elias Disney. And to the talents, the dedication, and the loyalty of the entire Disney organization that made Walt Disney's dream come true. May Walt Disney World bring joy and inspiration and new knowledge to all who come to this happy place, a magic kingdom where the young at heart of all ages can laugh and play and learn together." Thank you for watching. Please like, share, comment and ring that bell.